Good morning. Welcome to AP Computer Science A. Today we are going to cover section 5.1 and we're actually going to also cover section 5.0 briefly. So be sure to have your notes ready. Be sure to have your repo ready to go. Type in your name, your period, and let's get ready to code. Now, all of the code that we've typed so far has been inside your main method. Type your code here. But there's going to be many times that we need to be able to reuse a piece of code over and over and over again. For those occasions, we need to be able to create our own methods so we can call the methods and we can call that piece of code and execute it as many times as needed. So therefore, we want to make sure that we place our method outside the main method. Now, you can place it below or above, but most programmers will actually place it above the main method. So let's go make some space in here. Let's assume that we are going to type in the address of the school, and we need to be able to type it in several times throughout our code or program. So therefore, we are going to create a method that's going to print the address of the school or the school address. So let's start with public. It can be public or private. Public, that means that anybody can use it. Static. Static means that we don't need to create an object, just the same way that we create a circle before we can actually use any of the methods inside the circle class. We need to create a circle, and then we can call the methods of the circle. Static means that we don't need to create an object. Void means that we're not going to return anything. We're just going to execute some code, and that's it. And now the name of the method, we're going to say school address Santa Fe. And open and close parentheses will signify that this is a method. Now, we've actually used methods before, correct? We use them when for the math class, math.square root. That was a static class, which means that we did not need to create an object. We also use, for the string class, we use dot compared to, dot substrings, and those were non-static class methods, which means that we needed to create the object first in order to be able to use it. So now let's go ahead and print the name of the school address, system.out.println, and let's say Santa Fe High School. And for now, let's just go and have one line. Now we can invoke the method, we can call the method inside our main method. Now, whenever you execute and compile a code, whenever you compile a code, your Java is going to be looking for the main method, and it's going to start, that's where it's going to be the starting point of the execution of the code. So therefore, we're going to invoke our code here, and it's going to be school address Santa Fe. And if we run it, Santa Fe High School should print. We have an error. Santa Fe school address, and let's see, notice that, what is the error, right? It needs to match exactly. So notice that Mr. Diaz forgot to place an extra D in here. So if you don't have the exact same name, then it's not going to be able to find the method that you're looking for. And now we can run it, and now it's going to print. So that's something to be careful with. Notice that because this is a static method, we can call or invoke the method without having to create an object. Notice that println is also a method because we have the parentheses, but because this println is outside of our class, then we need to type in the name of the class first so you can find the method. Now, the name of the class for this program is main, so we can actually type in main.school address and run it. In the same way that this is a static method, we can use the name of the class. Notice that that's uppercase. That means that it's going to be looking for the main class. But because this method is within our class, we don't need to type in main dot school address. And let's assume that we need to be able to run it again. We need to be able to print school address Santa Fe. And we can run it, and it prints it twice. So therefore, if we actually need to be able to print the entire address for the school address, 10400. Do you guys know your address for the school and road? Then we can just add or correct anything, and you'll correct it on the both times that we print it out. And Santa Fe Springs, California, and the zip code is 90670. And now we print, and the fact that we actually had a different method, even though we have it printed twice, we can fix it once, and every single time we invoke it, it will get fixed. And let's go and place a system.out.print. Let's go and run it. Now, whenever you execute code, Java is going to be looking for the main method, and it's going to start executing the code line by line. Once it gets to the call of this method, once you invoke this method, now it's going to transfer the control over to this method, and it's going to execute every single line inside that method. Once it ends, it comes back to the next line, which is line 30. It prints an empty line, and then you invoke the method again. So therefore, it transfer controls over to this method, and it executes line by line, and then it continues on. So things to keep in mind is your methods should always be lowercase. Be sure to place braces in, open and close it, and all of your code should be inside those braces for the method. So that will conclude the lesson for today. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.